PurpleHaze Nation. Fuck size, fuck size, fuck PurpleHaze, fuck PurpleHaze, fuck PurpleHaze, we the PurpleHaze Nation. Fuck, yeah, we PurpleHaze Nation. Fuck PurpleHaze Nation. Fuck PurpleHaze Nation. Fuck, yeah, we PurpleHaze Nation. Fuck size, fuck size, fuck PurpleHaze, fuck PurpleHaze, fuck PurpleHaze. We the PurpleHaze Nation. Fuck, yeah, we PurpleHaze Nation. Fuck PurpleHaze Nation. Fuck PurpleHaze Nation. Fuck, yeah, we PurpleHaze Nation.
No.
Two, two, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, there we go. Lord, Lord, Lord. Okay, thank you. Check 1, 2. Thank you. Thank you. All right. What is up, PurpleHaze Nation? It is Vante Poems. You are tuned in to PurpleHaze at night. Had a little bit of technical difficulties, but I appreciate those who are still sticking right by us. My name is Vante Poems, and as you may know, I'm not by myself. We are a team representing the Hoopers Rehab. Tell me who Hoopers Rehab. Yes, sir. The Kings. What's good?
What's going on?
Chilling, bro. How are you?
We're doing all right.
Good. Doing beautiful.
Good, bro. All right, so we starting with Hoopers Rehab. How's Hoopers Rehab? Tell us something good that happened to you in the last. Actually, before we do that, let's not keep our special guest waiting. I want to take this time and officially introduce our special guest, our evolutionary Maven. Her aura is positive. It's like a ray of sunshine helping you go through the doors of your inner self, just to help you shine. I know her. She's familiar. Huge shout out to Paula Whitlock for the amazing connection and also hosting Shift. Ladies and gents, get ready for your own shift tonight. Let's welcome Lisa J. Weiss. All right, Lisa. So what we normally do when we first start is we say something good that happened to us in the last 7 days. Again, let's start with Hooper's Rehab. Edmund, what's good, man?
What's going on? Something great. Well, what's going on, PurpleHaze Nation? It's Ibn or Khalif Bunan. Follow me on Instagram, and I represent Hooper's Rehab. Something good that happened in the last 7 days is we began training athletes again. So, and all our athletes' training sessions went very well. And also, our website is now up and running. And there's going to be improvements to the website as well. So,
back
to business.
Back to business. Looking good, bro. Like I think I seen a picture of you the other day, and like you're looking real stocky, bro. You're getting ready. I don't know what you're getting ready for, but you're getting ready, bro. All right, Nomadic Voices. What's good, man?
What's good, y'all? Hello, everybody. My name is Tabo, aka I can find me on Instagram at Busy. And I represent Nomadic Voices. Something good that happened to me was a couple good things, actually. Monday, I had my second paid poetry performance. Shout out to Michelle. She hooked me up. I performed in front of a bunch, like almost 200 people that day. I felt like that were there.
Whoa, that's
right?
Wow,
Yeah, about 200 people that were there. So I did my little poetry piece. They seem to love it. You know, I got a lot of people coming up to me and talking to me and asking questions after the performance. So that was dope. Also, not as far ahead as Hooper's Rehab, but I have a meeting this week with Ryan Miller from Thinkubator, and we're going to start building our website soon for Nomadic Voices. So that's always a plus.
Websites. Come on, Visionary Vending. You got a website too. I know it.
VisionaryVending.com is my website. Check that out. Merch coming soon. But my name is Julius, aka Jew Black. I'm the owner, CEO of Visionary Vending. Something good that happened this week was on Friday, I moved my 2 vending machines into a new gym that's located in Utica. And yes, clap, snaps. It's a very good moment for me and for the business because people will see my machines, and one of my machines has Visionary Vending on it, so they're gonna know who it will belong to, you know, right. If they follow my page, if they see my website. So it's good branding to have it in a gym like that where there's a lot of people. Like I know the owner said that it topped almost 3,000 people at one point, so that's a lot. So yeah, that's something that's
great exposure, honestly.
Something that great that happened. So we looking to expand.
Yo, y'all heard it here first. Yo, if you guys put TikTok videos, you guys see Visionary Vending, do a TikTok video right in front of Visionary Vending. Hey, that's an idea.
I keep saying I'm gonna make a TikTok and I don't know. I just don't want to get like addicted to it. That's trying to limit my time on my phone.
But exposure leads
to expansion. I know.
Talk to him. All right. I'm next. PurpleHaze Nation. I too have officially put the itsvantepoems.com/PurpleHaze at night. It's official. You can get the Zoom link there. You can even watch the YouTube live from the website there. It plays automatically. You can try it right now. It's vantepoems.com/PurpleHaze at night. Something good to happen to me in the last week is I uploaded After Hours 2.5 on it's a couple things that happened on DistroKid. I'm getting ready to be released on my birthday, July 21st. Yeah, I know I like to release music on my birthday, make a little money, Um, Second thing is I hired someone to be the offline SEO wizard of my website, just so I can paying higher on Google and whatnot. Vante Poems is officially a business, and yeah, there's a lot of good things that's going to be happening soon. Let's go. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. So yeah, yeah. That's our introduction there. Everybody's doing well, doing very well. This is Purple Haze at Night 2 hour special. We have Lisa J. Weiss in the building. And Hooper's Rehab, Nomadic Voices, Visionary Vending. Please don't forget those brands and businesses, all right? Because we finna blow up. Business is booming. So when you see a vending machine, when you see somebody's hooping at Hooper's Rehab with a t-shirt on, and you see somebody, doing their thing behind the mic at Nomadic Voices, show some love. Share that video, share that tweet. Come on. That's all we need. You feel
Come
me?
on, that's all we need.
That's
Support
all
is
we need.
free.
Support is free. Support is free.
Facts.
Yeah, so let's get started with going with the flow with Tabo. This is one of my favorite poems by Tabo. I'm not gonna do his introduction, but I'm just letting you know this guy is amazing at what he does, and when he says something, people listen. Give it up for going with the flow with Tabo, aka Ty Busy.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? Today, I'm going to recite a little bit older piece of mine, titled "Sorry for Being a Refugee." This poem came from me trying to reflect on myself during the time of quarantine. During that time was when I started writing poetry, as some of you may know, and I started reflecting on my life and just me as an individual and what I've been through in the past and what my family history is, and just how I can grow out of that shamefulness and just accepting who I am and being proud of it. And so this poem is titled "Sorry for Being a Refugee," and I try to tackle that issue. I'm sorry for being a refugee. You see, my people were murdered because of our ethnicity. We never expected to be forced out of our homes and be a burden to yours. So I'm sorry for evading your poverty. I'm sorry for being an immigrant. You see, my family relocated to America. We never expected that we would feel unwelcome simply because of our race. So I'm sorry for your ignorance. I'm sorry for my work ethic. The work ethic that has been ingrained into my blood from the sweat of my parents, because after years of running, fighting, and despair, working overtime is nothing. So I'm sorry for taking advantage of your system, the system that don't value its people but value the money. I mean, ain't it ironic? The richest country in the world is just another contract that sold out its people. So I'm sorry for working. I swear I never meant to take your job. I just need to work harder so the generations after me wouldn't have to work as much. I'm sorry if I ever disrespected you. I swear I didn't mean it when you looked at me sideways and I gave you the same look. I'm sorry if I ain't talked to you the way how you wanted me to. I ain't mean no disrespect. So I'm sorry if I have an accent. I mean, I know my English ain't the best, but I'm trying. I'm sorry. I'm sorry and I'm sorry, but I'm tired of apologizing. I'm tired of you making fun of my accent when you can only speak English. I'm tired of when you tell me to speak American when I'm just communicating with my friends. I'm tired of you telling me to go back to my country when you stole yours. I'm tired of you saying I stole your job when you just didn't work hard enough. I'm tired of your excuses. And I'm tired of you blaming me for your misery. I'm tired of being taken advantage of, and I'm tired of being quiet. That is all.
Deep.
Fire.
Deep.
Oh my God.
Man.
Definitely elite.
It's definitely elite. Yo, Huge shout out to Tabo again. Just want to say shout out to the Korean community. It's also deep rooted over here, not just because of my wife and kids and being Korean, but we were raised in Cornhill. We were raised in the Obama house, so we was raised with Korean people as well. So we all lived in this community. I also remember this time where we were also beefing in the community. Seems like it's getting a little more chill now with the two communities, but we all could relate to,
Right.
I don't want to say everything, but I want to work as hard so that my next generation don't have to work as hard as I did. I can relate to
Mhm.
that. That's what I want to say about it. Who else want to take the mic?
I want to say that, like you said, we all could relate to it. Um, I want the best for the people around me right now as well. Like y'all inspire me to work hard. So, hopefully one day we all could take family vacations or, things of that sort. It'll be really cool to do, and it's inspiring to just keep pushing, keep going forward. There's a saying called failing forward. So sometimes we want to be so perfect, but we're not, you know. Just like you was having a technical difficulty in the beginning,
Oh my
but we're
goodness.
failing forward. You know
Yes,
what I
yes,
mean? We're
yes.
getting to the point where we'll be smooth every time. But if we're not, it's okay, you know. So yeah, that's
Damn.
my take.
Jew Black already speaking facts. You
Word.
heard? You heard? Alright. Damn, that was all right. Wow. Okay, Evan.
Uh, Bro, I heard the poem multiple times, but we're gonna dissect it again. It was a good poem. What I always say is that like I can relate to it. Me not being Korean, but me being black, we kind of go through the same experiences um, here in America. So um, I find this poem to be powerful, inspiring, and bro, keep going.
Mhm.
My
Keep
bad. I
going.
appreciate you. It's
All
can
right.
I'm not gonna like go too deep with it, but like when I was writing this piece, I was just trying. I wrote it in the perspective, like half of the perspective was from my side, but the other half was from my parents. You know what I mean? Like I don't work overtime, but when I wrote that line down, I was talking about my dad, who like works 6 days a week, 10 plus hours a day. If he could, he would. You know what I mean? So like, he's really doing that because so that we, our me and my kids in the future wouldn't have to work as hard as he did, because all that physical labor that he's doing, that's like very that could be a drain, right? So, but me as his child, I'm trying to not take advantage, but be grateful of what he's doing so that I can, you know, work not just harder but smarter, so that my kids in the future can grow even better than what we grew up in. So
Right.
it's just progress. You know what I mean? So I just want to point that out, that when I wrote this piece, it isn't just from my perspective, but also my parents' perspective.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yo. Shout out to you again, Tabo. Been doing this for a while now too, bro. You
Yeah.
know.
Yes, sir.
I'm also, Vante, I also wanted to tell you that, since we have a couple minutes in my time, I'm trying to really grow my artistry out. Like I know you guys listen to my poems and yeah, like hype it up a little bit, and me doing nomadic voices, I always get good feedback and stuff, but I'm really trying to grow my platform as an artist and as a poet. So, I'm planning to go to New York City and even go like attend open mic nights, or even go to virtual open mic nights and whatnot. I really try to, get my artists out there. I just want to point that
Let's
out because I was making
go.
this plan this week and I was like, yo, I really got to attend more open mic nights and recite more of my pieces.
Yeah, because like not only you going to New York City or wherever you going to, you also is taking nomadic voices.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like you represent. You're also taking Visionary Vending. You're also taking Hoopers Rehab, PurpleHaze at night. But most importantly, sometimes you just gotta put yourself through them doors, bro. So like you taking the initiative and actually being nomadic with your voice is
Word.
amazing, bro. So
Appreciate that, brother.
that's fire. And you let me know, bro, if you're going to New York City. Maybe we all can go. You came up here, right? So,
Yes.
you know, we can all come support you.
Of course. Do you guys have open mic nights in Ottawa?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, bro.
We gotta go to one of those.
Yeah, bro.
I was gonna ask. Johnny was in Toronto, right?
That's correct. No, he lives in Toronto. He's in LA right now.
Yeah. How was he able to do that?
I think airplane is okay if I'm not mistaken.
That's just so weird. How is the border closed, but he could go on? I don't get that.
I think it's if it's by airplane, it's okay.
Mm.
I don't. I actually I don't know. I don't
I was
know.
confused. I want to ask him that. I most likely will.
Because
Maybe
you're
after
right.
this.
They just closed the borders, right? Like they opened it up for a second, and then the actual border, they were like, nah.
I think
No.
so. Well, before we get to my segment, is it true that the border might open on your birthday?
That's what they saying.
Mm.
That's what they saying. But
Trip ski?
I would I wouldn't put money on it, bro. I would not put money on it.
We get to the border, sir, the border is still closed. Oh man.
Okay, fair day. 2 hours
Yes,
ago.
around. That's funny as hell. Nah, yeah. Yeah, again, huge shout outs to Bo, going with the flow with the Bo. That what is it called? I am a refugee.
Sorry for being a refugee.
Sorry for being a refugee. All right. Well, this next segment is my boy. Speaking of facts with Jew Black. I'm not even gonna hold you because we already a minute late into your segment. What's good, bro?
What's going on, everybody? I hope y'all having a good night. So, the word of the day that I have for you all is called Fantast. It means a visionary or dreamer. Now, there's one reason why I like this word is because my brand, Visionary Vending.
Hey.
But but Fantast, a visionary or a dreamer, I feel like in life, as we get older, sometimes we lose that uniqueness of being visionaries or dreaming about something. It'd be like, oh, I wish I could be this, or I dreamed about being this. But then as you get older, sometimes reality sets in. But I think we still should be able to dream about things that we want for our future life or even our current life. And then we have to have the mindset of being, okay, I need to do A, B, and C to get there. You got to see the vision. There's a Drake quote. I wish I could think of it right now. Something about something being bigger than the bigger picture, something of that nature. I wish I knew. I'm usually on top of it. I can't think of it, but sometimes we have to have tunnel vision on our vision, on our dreams. Some people are very tunnel vision on the negative stuff. You can't have that. Gotta be positive. Gotta push forward. Fail forward. I encourage everybody that is out there. Yeah. I encourage everybody that's out there to just keep going, be fantastic, be a visionary, be a dreamer. Keep rising, no matter the circumstances will only make you stronger. I actually went to church today too. It opened up for us, and the lesson was don't give up. So like I feel like it hit home. I don't see myself giving up on anything, but there's been times with this vending stuff, I'm like, man, I don't know, but I gotta keep pushing. I gotta try. I don't want to be mediocre. I hope everybody does.
I like how you ended that.
Yes.
That was amazing, bro. I gotta talk about it. So fantastic. I like that word, bro. It's probably one of my favorite now. Cause
I ain't gonna lie, me too.
now that you said that, it's like, you can use that in your business. Like, you know what I mean? Like fantastic, or if you turn into a noun, that can be your followers. What up, fantasters? Or something, you know what I mean?
Visionaries.
There's some visionaries. All right.
Did you
Yeah,
know
but
it's
I
the
love it,
word
bro.
in merch?
Word. I might
Yeah.
put that in the back of it.
Like now.
Yo.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be fire.
Yo.
Oh man, y'all just gave me merch ideas.
Let's go. It's elite, bro. That's all I
Definitely.
had to say about it, though. That merch idea was crazy.
That that might be a fall edition, not summer. I already started my summer merch, but fall.
See the ideas of
Hey,
Come on, man. Come on, man.
That's why I like y'all around me. Y'all
let me
my
fall.
guys.
Let me fall, bro.
Hey man.
That's a good word, though.
Word.
Nah.
It's like the base word for fantastic.
Word.
People are
Man.
fantastic.
Damn, that is the basic
That's an actual
word
That's
of
that fire.
fantastic. Yo, Evan, you be on the whole yo, thank you so much, Jew Black, for that word, bro. Like, we gotta get Evan be on a different level, bro. Yo, see how just one thing just goes into another. Yo, huge shout out to my boy Evan. Again, these are my best friends. They came up here a few times to see the boy perform. You know what I mean? So when I bring these guys up, I know these guys. I know Ibn. He's familiar as well. Shout out to Ibn. Something different with Ibn. Give it up, give it up, give it up.
What's going on, Purple Haze Nation? It is your boy Khalif Bunan, or Ibn, or Ibington, however you want to go about it. I represent Hooper's Rehab, and usually on my during my segment, I like to interview guests. Um, Usually guests from the 315 area, local talent. Try to give them a platform so they can grow their platform as well as us growing our platform. I feel like once the entire community works together, um, the the potential is endless. Feel me? The growth is endless. Why can't we just grow together? You know what I mean? But then I also, on my segment, I also like to share some news articles or some factual data, something that I find interesting or fun. You know what I mean? Something different with Evan. That's where I get the name from. So today I have 3 articles that I want to touch on. One I found interesting, and I think you can be more vocal in this one, Vante, since you're in Canada.
I
But
bet.
there's something going on with like the indigenous people over in Canada. Um, I want you to kind of touch on that. I guess like the government isn't treating them fairly, and there's kind of some restrictions going on over there.
Oh man. All right. So this is from what I understand. Okay, so don't quote me, but apparently um all these residential schools in these indigenous areas have countless bodies of indigenous people, and we're talking about kids as well, not just in one location, in a couple locations, and there's a lot of pointing fingers. I think I read an article where Justin Trudeau is going to make the Pope apologize, and then the Catholic, or I read another articles where no, you should make your father apologize, which is Justin Trudeau's father, who was in command before he was, for lack of a better term. But yeah, there's a lot going on, a lot of pointing fingers, a lot of no one knows why. Everyone knows why, but no one really cares to wants to know like who is doing this, who's accountable. These people are still living. We're talking about early 2000s here. This is not far off. So
It's interesting that you say that, bro, because the title of the article is "Why Canada is Reforming Indigenous Foster Care." So, like you said, this has to do with a lot of indigenous children being buried in unmarked grave sites. outside former residential schools. And this is an increased call for the country's foster care system, where indigenous children are vastly overrepresented. I found this article. I don't want to really like read the entire article. That'll probably be boring. But I found this article to be informing. Like I mean, I should have known that there was an indigenous group of people in Canada, but I didn't know that they were going through something that's so big, but it's not being heard throughout media. It's not being like put. Yeah, you know what I mean.
It's
Yeah, go ahead, Tabo.
okay. I was just gonna add to that when the last statement you just said, like not being publicized. I feel like I don't know if it's just like an American thing, but like our media is like probably one of the most marketed medias in the world. Like I feel like everyone knows about America issues, but we don't know about no other country issues like that. Maybe that's my perspective, but like I feel like as a general, as a whole, you know what I mean? And so when we learn about that, it's like those type of issues are very similar to the issues that we have in America. So there's a huge indigenous issue as well in America as well. But I just thought that was interesting, and I want to point that out from my perspective. But I feel like this issue is all over the world, but I feel like America's media is the most marketed.
I mean, yeah, I agree.
I agree, bro. Even Daly, she grew up here in Canada. For most of her teen years, they learned more so about American history than their own country history. The way I see it, you know what I mean? Like Christopher Columbus and Thanksgiving, and far as we don't know about their Christopher Columbus, or you know what I mean, we weren't taught. We were in global studies. It was brief.
Word, that's true.
What? That's crazy. Really, bro? Like, is your daughter like, I don't know, like not yet, probably not yet. She's not like, her history class is not gonna teach her about the Canadian stuff. But,
I'm not sure. To be honest, with this whole pandemic thing, my daughter's in first grade. I'm not sure what she's really been learning. Yeah, that's a whole nother subject with the pandemic and the school going on. Cause yeah. But yeah, these indigenous, what would happen is the government would try to strip them of their identity and their customs and their culture. So bringing them to this residential schools, ripping them away from their parents, and if they wouldn't comply, then they would consider that person not even a person. It's just someone who wouldn't, comply. So they would kill them. From what I understand, that's crazy. You talk about kids.
Word. It's a big thing. That's why I brought it up. Should be talked about more.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Another story that I would like to bring up. You got something to say?
No. I was just reading what you said.
Oh, so the title of this article is called "After Removing 2 Statues, Charlottesville's official vote to take down a third." So it said. So the article begins like this: Saturday marked a day of sweeping changes to the landscape of Charlottesville, as local officials removed 3 statues seen by many as symbols of perpetuating racial inequality in America. So early Saturday morning, the city took down statues of Confederate generals Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson. And then the third one was featuring Meriwether and Lewis, William Clark, and an interpreter from Sacagawea, which was taken down Saturday. So this statue that was taken down recently had 3 people, and if you've seen the statue itself, it looked like 2 capturers or 2 people. Looked like they were like founders or something, and it was just somebody creeped up in the back, kind of behind these 2 men. And the outcry and what's been going on in the past couple of years, obviously transgressed into this, and you know, it's just something I would like to share. Do you guys have any ideas?
I was going to ask, where was this at? Where, Charlottesville, you said?
Yeah.
Where is that?
Virginia.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I'm glad these monumental statues are being taken down, especially if they're related to something that's negative that has happened in the past. There was a couple instances here in Utica that they tried to like cover a statue.
Christopher Columbus one, they tried but people vandalized it.
Right.
That was weird because I seen Facebook statuses and then I seen Facebook arguments on that. The way they did it I don't think they really did it right.
Right.
Because because I saw a lot of people was like, this doesn't, it doesn't portray what they're trying to do.
Right. Could have organized it better, but in this case, I feel like people band together and they did it properly, and now the statues are being taken down.
They did it through legislation, right? You said.
Yeah, they did.
See, that's better.
So hopefully, more states will follow that, and maybe they can make some new statutes of like current people. Like Utica need to make a statue of me.
Yo, Robert E. Lee was basically on the wrong side of history. He was a top, I want to say general for the Confederacy. I think at one point he was on the Union side, and then he switched over. So yeah, I mean, he was on the wrong side of history. There's a lot of wrong side of history. It gets tricky too, because I mean, wrong is wrong, right or right, no matter if you found a country or not. You feel me? Like, we're paying taxes off of somebody else's back. You feel me? And I'm not even talking about just slaves. What about the indigenous people that were already here? They had to walk western because of Andrew Jackson. The Trail of Tears.
Yeah, that
was crazy too. So like, why is he on the $20 bill? You feel me? Like, he wasn't even good with money. He destroyed the bank. He destroyed the economy. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah.
My input is that, like, I love history. Like, I just love like how, how much. I just love history in general, especially like human history. Like compared to 300 years ago, obviously morals and values change. I don't think we as a society shouldn't deplete them from history completely, right? But I do agree with them remove the statues, obviously, but I don't think we should completely banish them from our history books, because we had to learn about them and their morals, and how Robert E. Lee even commanded the Confederate Army, because he was a very smart dude, right? Maybe he was on the wrong side of history, but that dude, the way he led the Confederates in some ways can be looked at as some technical knowledge and whatnot.
You're right. They were winning in the beginning of the in the beginning of the war.
Exactly.
Those last few battles.
So my take is that history's morals change, and as a society we're just gonna keep improving and being better.
To end this article, I just want to repeat what an ancestor from one of the basically in the third statue, I said there was two men and a lady that was crouched up behind her, and this is gonna come from an ancestor from that lady that was crouched behind her. She said it depicts our ancestor as if she was a dog going along the trip. And her last name was Abrahamson. Earlier this week, the article goes on and says city officials dedicated $1 million to remove the three statues, and then it said the city manager and had an emergency meeting and was called to remove Lee and ejection statues smoothly, but outside resources had to be in place to take down a third monument. And I also want to end the article with this. Um, the ancestor from that woman, she said she felt like the statue should have been melted down. She felt that it was entirely offensive and it should have been obliterated. And if she could, if it could be used to give a message, she would wanted to educate the public, as this is an opportunity to seize a moment, and she is very pleased with what has taken place, and it's been a long road. So
I like that. I like that.
Wow. Well, thank you again for that. Something different with Evan.
one more,
Okay,
bro.
let's go.
One more. This is about a young hooper who's about like 16 of age, and he becomes the youngest American professional in history. His name is Jalen Lewis, and just being Hooper's rehab, and watching this kid, just seeing how the kids we train around this age can be just as elite or even better, is inspirational. And just when I saw this story, I was surprised and I was shocked. When you come across talent that's like this, and seeing a kid at this age just seizing a moment and becoming a professional so young, it's crazy.
At what sport?
Basketball.
Oh, that's dope.
He's a high school junior, and he signed a contract with Overtime Elite. Shout out to that brother, man. A multi-year deal, over $1 million.
That's life changing.
That's money.
Life changing.
For real. That's how I want to end it. It's a good thing. That's something good. Yeah.
Also, like how you put like history, sports, and like world politics in a way, all in one.
All in one, baby.
Yeah, touch everything,
Something different.
man.
He diverse with it.
Something different.
Tap in with my guy.
Let me find out Evan for News Channel 2.
What's about to look like?
Just like finding interesting stories, sharing it with the bros, sharing it with PurpleHaze family, seeing what you guys think, talk about it. Maybe it'll influence or spark future conversations. So
Yes. Again, shout out to Something Different with Eben. All right, it's what we all been waiting for. I'm going to read our special guest bio before we bring her up. Evolutionary Maven, founder of Eye of the Storm Coaching and Consulting, is a speaker, author, the creator of the Sensory Identification Cycle Model, and the Core Guidance Realignment Process. Her featured programs include the LeaderSELF Empowerment Process, the Power of Seven, and the Connect program. Lisa believes when a dash of the quantum sciences and a touch of magic is infused with intentional breath, it creates an elixir that results in transformation. We're going to talk about that word from the inside out. She helps her clients recognize how the words they use internally and externally connect to their choices and their external expression of self. As a speaker, she believes in engaging the audience in a conversation. Her intention to create an inclusive experiential conversation that invites participants into their bodies, providing an opportunity to engage with their higher self. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Lisa J. Weiss. Thank you for coming to PurpleHaze at night. Appreciate you. I know you're busy, so taking time out of your night to come hang with us means a lot. Again, thank you.
Oh my God, it's my pleasure. I mean, it's my honor to be able to engage with all of you and your audience, all over, to have this conversation. And it really will be a conversation, guys. I've been taking notes as you were all speaking, because you all had these amazing things that you came up with. And so we're gonna, it's an experiential thing, right? This is about inviting, and I want to invite you, and I want to invite everyone that's listening tonight into your bodies. And so I'm going to be asking you questions, and I'm going to be inviting you to breathe and pay attention to what's going on in your bodies. And yeah, we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive tonight. So I'm really excited that, you've taken the time to give me a little more time on your show to be able to engage.
Everyone give it up again for Lisa J. Weiss. What we're going to do now is, she is a speaker as well. So I'm going to let you do what you do. I'm going to give you co-host, and we're on your ride right now. Let's do it.
All right. So let's do the deep dive. So I want to start with where you guys, the things that you guys were talking about, because I think it's relevant, it's today, and it addresses everything that your audience is looking at. And what I love about all of you is the fact, your words, right? And for me, words are everything. Words carry vibration. Words have the power to heal, and words have the power to shut down, right? And so I loved your poem, Tabo, and the word, what was it? Fantast as well. And so I wanted to speak to the things that you guys were talking about. So we'll start with that. So the poem, powerful, right? And what that brought up for me was the notion of truth and perspective, right? And what is a truth? What is my truth, and what is my perspective? And so I love the fact that in your poem, you wrote from two different perspectives, right? Because two different perspectives carry two different truths. And it's not about which one is right or wrong or good or bad. It's around recognizing there are always different sides to what we're saying, to what we're feeling, to what we're experiencing. And so I love that about,
thank you.
About your poem. And I love the failing forward, and because words carry vibration for me, the word fail. So I want to invite you right now, take a breath. So inhale and exhale. And when you consider the word fail, what happens in your body, right? To begin to notice the things of the words that we're saying, what's happening in our body. So fail forward, right? Forward is this momentum. It has momentum and movement. And yet, what does the word fail do in our bodies? What's the sensation that comes up for it? So for me, it's kind of a contractive sensation in my body, right? Failure. I don't want to fail, right? I think you mentioned something about being, striving for perfection, which we all do. And we know we're not perfect. We are perfect in our imperfection, right? So what's this carrot we have about getting everything perfect, right? And failure, what's a failure? Unless I try something, unless I choose to make a choice to do something, I won't know what the result is until I do it. And it's when I see the result, I go, oh, that's what I expected, or that isn't what I expected. And now I get to make a different choice. So my invitation is, what other word could we come up with other than fail forward? Choose forward, I don't know. I'm going to leave that in the ether, for the show. And if we come up with another word before the end, great. But I just want you to, as we're engaging in the conversation, to begin to pay attention to what's going on in the body, right? A lot of my work revolves around helping people to identify sort of the underlying state that drives their choices and the behavior that they're in. And so I have 4 states. And the first one is disembodied, right? Where you're kind of floating up here. Anybody ever had that experience where you're floating up here? Something intense is happening in your world and you just kind of vacate. You're just kind of moving through.
Kind of just going through the motions a little bit, like in third person a little bit. Yeah.
I feel like that happened to me this week.
Yeah. Probably when you were
Right.
just saying your poem.
Yeah. Well, no, not even that one actually, because I feel like this week was very busy. Well, this past couple of weeks were pretty busy, and so in just a moment, I was just like, you know what, I gotta like just think, not outside, but like just step away a little bit and then be
Right. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with being disembodied. It's about recognizing it, right? Because when we're up here floating around, right, we're not really paying attention. We're not really feeling anything inside, right? What are we hearing? The second state is what I call cerebral. And I lived in this state for a long time, up here, always up here. Got a plan for everything. I got a plan from A to Z, right? If this one doesn't go right, next one. I'm having conversations inside my head. How many of you are in relationships? Are you guys in relationships? All right, okay.
I'm good.
Why are you pointing?
Right. So how often do you have, when you're thinking about having a conversation with people in your life, and this could be your partner, your sibling, your parents, your friends, but you have a pre-conversation in your head, right, about how the conversation is going to go, and then you're in the conversation and it's not going the way you had presupposed it to go, right? That's where we're in cerebral, right? And now you're listening for certain words so that you can fit what the person is saying in the story that you've created in the conversation that you had earlier, right?
So you can relate to that, huh?
Definitely, all the time.
That happened when I was I remember being in 4th and 5th grade and just having those conversations about what girl I'm going to talk to the next day and see if it goes off the rails or not. And normally it did.
It's funny you said that,
Right.
because like I have the same type of conversations in my head, and I feel like it never, when I do have those conversations, it never go the way how I pictured it in my head. But
Right.
when it's like when I'm just winging it, I feel like it's way better that way. But if I like
Right.
overthinking things, it just never really goes right.
Right.
Absolutely. Because in that you're actually present to the moment. And you're present to what's happening in the moment, as opposed to this script that we've created in cerebral, right? The third state is what I call aware or habituated. And in this state, life is kind of good. You're like, okay, things might be. I might sometimes look over the fence and go, oh, looks a little greener on the other side. Maybe I'll pick up a book and read something. Maybe I'll do a meditation. Maybe I'll talk to somebody about something that's bothering me. My life is okay. And so that's kind of the flat line, the plateau, right? I'm getting by. I'm surviving, right? And I think a lot of us live in survival mode, right? Not good, not bad. Yeah.
I was going to ask that, but you just kind of answered. I was going to ask, would that be a good thing or a bad thing to be in a aware state?
Well, and for me, there really isn't a good, bad, right, or wrong. It's about noticing. It's about noticing where I am, noticing what I'm saying, noticing what I'm doing, and then asking myself, what else? Who else? Who do I have the potential to become if?
Okay.
Right? Yeah, because I think we get into this good, bad, right, wrong, which is a very binary way of living. And for me, I like living in the and. I can be this and this. I can be gentle and fierce. Right?
It's interesting you said that, because I've seen this quotation. I forgot where I seen it or when I seen it, but it was like, you have to live life like in a contradiction almost. That to be fearless, you have to do this, and to do, you know what I mean? Like with what you just said, fearless, and then the other word. It's like it's contradictive, but you could do both.
Right. Exactly. We have the capacity to hold both, right? what we're taught is choose one, and one is good and one is bad. And what comes up in our bodies when we decide if one is good or one is bad, right? And now the fourth state is the state that I work when I'm working with my clients. I work with them to get them to the fourth state, which is called aligned, right? And that's when you are totally connected to who you are, to your core, to your essence, to your being, and you're making your choices from that, right? And I see all of you, you know, in terms of what you're where you're taking yourselves, right? You're moving your life in alignment of who you are. You're making choices so that you can represent who you are in a way out there in the world, right? And that's, I think, in that moving forward, it's a journey. There is no destination. The journey is, okay, where am I standing today in alignment with myself? And when I find that I'm not in alignment with myself, that's okay. To go, oh, I'm allowed to be misaligned. Am I, what's it going to take to bring me back? Because when we're in those moments, when we're out of alignment, that's when we discover more about ourselves.
One thing that
it's in the struggle.
Beauty
one
in the
thing,
struggle.
yeah, one thing that helps me out, even to going back what Tabo said, or what you said as well, with being that binary wrong or right. You know, you have no control over, you know, things, most of the things that you worry about. And one thing that helps me with my anxiety is whether or not something is wrong or bad, but whether or not something is natural or not natural. For instance, my daughter falling down at the park, and she hurt herself with no reason for anyone to get upset. That's natural, you know, whether whatever she was doing, she's 6-year-old at a park, it would be natural for her to fall and hurt herself, you know. So that helps me too, whether, you know.
Right. And that's how she's going to grow, right? I love the line in the Batman movie when the butler says to the young, why do we fall? So that we can pick ourselves up again.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because unless we fall, how do we know how to pick ourselves up?
Right.
Fall for it.
Right. Fall forward. Yeah, I love that.
I have a question about their states, and I was just wondering, like, everything that you said, I try to personally relate to it. So I was gonna ask, if you go from 1 to 4 states, can you like go back a state or two and then move forward, or is it just?
Absolutely. In fact, you can occupy more than one state at a time. I have been disembodied and cerebral at the same time. I have been aware and disembodied at the same time, right? It's not a linear process. Think of it more like in one situation. So you're engaging with someone and you find, I'm not even here. But then 2 minutes later, you're engaging with somebody else and you're running the track in your head about what you're going to say to this person, right? So this is not a linear thing. This is something that we jump around in all the time. And it's about becoming aware of what's going on. And how do we become aware? It's about knowing what's going on in our bodies, right? So when you're feeling frustrated, Vante, when you were talking about anxiety, I love that word because I teach a public speaking class and everybody hates public speaking, right? And I've got to change their attitude towards it right from the get-go because everybody has anxiety about public speaking. And
Correct.
It's a word. Where does anxiety sit in your body? So when you say anxiety, where does it sit? Is it in your face? Is it in your chest? Is it in, like, what's the sensation that happens?
I think it's in my chest. I think it's all in my chest. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's going on? Is it heavy? Is it swirly? Is it like? Can you talk about?
I would say it's heavy. I would say chest and shoulders. You know, it's all of that. You know, anxiety is something that I don't want to deal with. I don't want to lift it. Actually, I just want to leave it there, walk away from it slowly, back up.
Right.
Yeah.
What about the rest of you guys? When you hear the word anxiety, what comes up for you? What happens in your bodies?
I don't feel like I deal with anxiety, but there was something that you mentioned, like when you said about the failing thing. I feel like I failed a couple tests before for my engineering job, and when I found out that I failed, I was tense, So maybe I can't really relate to the anxiety aspect, but if I feel like tense or some way where I feel like uneasy, I don't like that feeling. So yeah.
Right. Right.
You want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. Anxiety. The feeling that comes to mind would probably be like I'll be tense in my shoulders. I'll have sweaty palms, and my voice will be very trembly. It's like almost the same feeling that I would get when I'm like fearful of that's what anxiety is, fearful of the next thing. So that's exactly what would happen. Like my voice will get all trembly, I'll start sweating a little bit, and I'll just be tense in my shoulders. So.
Right. Yeah.
I think for me, it all depends on what I'm doing next. Like you said, I like how you put that, because like the minute you said that, like I realized that like a lot of the stuff that I do, these activities I do, it kind of varies with my anxiety. I feel like with when I'm like working out or training or sparring with like other folks, I sometimes get a little anxious. But then once we go on the mat, I feel perfectly fine. And that's the same thing with like when I'm performing poetry. Like I get a little nervous behind, but then once I get up there and once I see people looking at me and once I start speaking, I feel like I could be myself a little bit. However, sometimes I do get a little nervous, especially in my body. Like I feel like my mouth, just because I'm speaking a lot, I feel like it could get a little shaky sometimes. And sometimes my fingers get a little tingly.
Right.
That's just weird. Like my chest doesn't feel as heavy, but other than that, I feel like, depending on the situation, my anxiety can be a little different.
Right, exactly. So what I want you to pay attention to is we had one word, anxiety. And I want you to notice how it was different for each of you in terms of the interpretation for you. Mm-hmm. And this is what happens when we're engaging with ourselves and with others, right? We're having a conversation and we are assuming that the person is interpreting the words that we're saying the same way we interpret the words. Mm-hmm. When in fact, we're having different experiences in our body using all of these different words. Right? And this is where it gets interesting, right? Because you ever have those conversations with someone, you think you're on the same page, and then you walk away and you think you've made an agreement to something, and then they go off and they do something completely different. You go, hey, we just had this conversation. I thought we had agreed. And they're like, yeah, I agreed to do this. And you're like, no, this is what I said, right? This is what happens.
With my kids, I'm telling you.
Right? So for me, that word anxiety, especially, it conjures up something that we put it in the negative bucket, right? Or we put fear in the negative bucket. Something that we don't want to have, something that we want, as you said, Vante, I want to back away slowly, right? Mm-hmm. Don't want to go there. Well, what if it meant something different? So I'd like you to for just a moment, if you consider taking another breath and exhaling, and I want you to think about a time when you were super excited about something, like super excited. And let me know when you've got it. Right? And when you're super excited, what's going on in your body? Where does that sit in your body?
Legs, arms.
The heart. It felt like
I was gonna say my heart.
Yeah.
I feel like you get a little nervous or anxious a little bit because like you're just waiting for it to happen. It's like, damn, it just happened already, so I could, kill it or something. Like even when I performed Monday, I was like, yo, I want this to happen already so I could like just kill this performance and kill my poetry and whatnot and have a good, feedback and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. One you label bad, one you label good. But what if it was all of it? What if it was a sensory cue in your body to say, whew, I am about to have an impact. I'm about to make a choice that might change someone else's life, right? Again, it comes down for me to perspective.
Yeah.
How am I looking at it? Right? Have I put it in the negative or the positive?
Yeah, I like how you put that, because like when you ask like the anxious and the excited part, I feel like that kind of do go hand in hand, because like my last thing that I was super excited for was that poetry night, but I was also very anxious for that event as well.
Right.
Now, when we talk about these words, because I'm kind of connecting it to what you brought up, the 4 different stages. Like when I hear the word anxiety, I feel like I react more from like the cerebral state, if that makes sense, when I hear the word anxiety. But when you use the word, hey, picture a time where you're like happy or you're having a fun time, I see myself more in a aligned state where my body is involved. It's something I spiritually want to do, and you know, I'm enjoying it up here. You know what I mean? So that's just what I wanted to say.
Absolutely. Right. And you guys are amazing, because usually, I'm in sessions for a long time just to get people to notice that, right, inside themselves, right? The fact that you've already made the connection. Oh, this word puts me in this state and this word puts me in this state. Right. So now when we're in these intense situations, we could use words as one way to shift where we're standing. Right. And we can also use breath as another way to shift. Right. So for me, I use a lot of breath work. Right. Do you know that there are 4 breaths? Earth, air, water, and fire.
So you call them breaths?
Sorry?
I said you call them breaths?
Breaths, yes. The 4 breaths: earth, air, water, fire. There are 4 different breaths. And so, our earth breath is when you inhale, and when you exhale, you hold it on the exhale. So it's a very calming breath. But what it also does is it compacts information. So you're feeling angry or frustrated, and so you go to calm yourself down, and you're compacting the information. The air breath is when you inhale and you hold on the inhale, and then you exhale. And then you inhale and you hold and you exhale. And then the water breath is just a continuous flow, right? No stopping on the inhale or the exhale. So there's flow. And then the fire breath, it's like a baffle, when you got a baffle for the fire, right? And you're moving the information. So when you're feeling tense, when you're feeling angry, when you're feeling frustrated, when things aren't going the way you want them to go, and you take a few fire breaths, it's about using breath to move the information through your body so that you can get to the next state. And so this is where we're going to have,
I had a question. So like when I'm working out or when I'm training, whatever, and I'm started breathing heavily, what kind of breath would that be under?
Can I hear it? Can you recreate it?
We do a couple push-ups. Honestly,
or is it like
depends. Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
I think it's more like the third one, like the water, like just flowing, like you have to constantly be breathing so you can kind of catch your breath.
Just a flow. You're in a constant flow.
Is that natural, or you're fighting? You're trying to have that water like breathe?
I think before, if like literally this happened last Thursday, when we were sparring, I was a little, because we were doing like 100% sparring. I had to spar with everybody, and I got a little nervous before each little fight, but I just did a huge breath, like, and I got good. But then obviously when you sparring with somebody for 5 minutes straight, you start getting tired, and I feel like that breath is 2 different breaths.
Yes, totally, absolutely. And that, right? That's like an intense earth breath, right? You're bringing yourself in, right? You're grounding yourself for preparing yourself for that spark, right? And so yeah, noticing what goes on in the breath in that, right? So I want to have a little experiment with you guys right now. So if you're willing, and for those of you who are listening, you know, feel free to join in with us here. Think of something that's happening right now in your life that is intense, that might not be going well, that you want to avoid, that you can't find a way out of. I just want you to find something that's going on in your life right now, if there's anything like that. Have you got it?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So now I want you to just consider relaxing your shoulders. So notice where your shoulders are as you're thinking about this thing. Are they up here? Right? So are you willing to relax the shoulders? And now think about, where's your belly? Are you holding your belly in, right? As you're thinking about this thing, are you holding that in? So are you willing to relax your belly as well? Right? Are you willing, when you were thinking about that thing, were you actually breathing, or did you hold your breath? So are you willing to take an inhale? And then are you willing to exhale? And now, are you willing to bring yourself in? So all I want you to think about, so I want you to hold what this thing is, and I want you to think about, so just listen to me and do what I'm inviting you to do. So are you willing to relax your shoulders as you're thinking about what you're thinking about? Are you willing to soften your belly? Are you willing to inhale? Are you willing to exhale? And when you exhale, I want you to open your mouth so that you can hear yourself. Are you willing to bring yourself in? So just notice, am I willing to come in as I'm thinking about whatever is going on? Am I willing to bring myself inside myself? And just repeat that again. Am I willing to relax my shoulders? Am I willing to soften my belly? Am I willing to inhale? Am I willing to exhale so I can hear myself? Am I willing to bring myself all the way down into what I call the bowl, down to where your pelvis is? And now, as you're thinking about your problem, tell me what's going on in your body. And what are your thoughts now about your problem?
I would say it's less tense.
Mm-hmm.
I always, if I do get worked up about issues that go on, I usually either pray or take a deep breath. But the combination of the shoulders, I'm bloated right now, so I feel like my stomach is that one is a bit tough, but everything else I do like those, and it feels relaxing. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I got brought to that state, I don't necessarily want to like talk about that state, but like doing the exercises and breathing, everything that you just said, it made it feel more easier to deal with, I guess, but still there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was more easier to deal with.
Right.
To me, I felt like it was hard to do. Like, it was hard to think about this situation that I want to be better at. But relaxing the shoulders and then, softening up your stomach and inhaling and exhaling, I felt like simultaneously it was hard to think about this situation while doing something that's so peaceful. So I thought that was kind of difficult.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, like, when you said tuck it into the bowl and the waist, I necessarily never thought about it like that, but when it comes to anxiety, I tend to suppress it to a way to where it is deep, but I wouldn't say to where it's unhealthy. I just don't like or let things bother me. Not to say what I'm thinking about is it is very heavy. It's very intense. I feel like if I can just get through this, I can be where I want to be. But at the same time, I have these small daily goals and these weekly goals that I try to push through to to ease my mind and get my mind off of the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, bite size,
Yeah.
right? And this is key, right? Because when we're focused on the thing that we don't want to focus on, right? That we don't want to be in those states, right? And we want to be out of it. But here's the thing, the only way out is through, right? And a lot of times, if you're just willing to, are my shoulders relaxed? Is my belly soft? Am I inhaling? Am I exhaling? Am I willing to bring myself in, right? In the work that I do with my clients, it's about not thinking our way out of it. It's letting your body actually do the work. Let your body do the heavy lifting. Scientifically, our intellects can only handle 7 plus or minus 2 things at any moment. Your body processes 30 trillion bits of information a second. So as a processor, it's much faster. And it's about, am I willing to get out of my own way? Because thinking about something is what actually makes us crazy. Because sometimes we can't think our way out of something because it's actually in the body.
Yeah. I tell my daughter all the time, I say, you're suffering more in reality. You're suffering more in your imagination than in reality.
It's
Right.
Can I say something to that?
Yeah.
I feel like, going back with what you said, making everything a good thing. Because I feel like I'm an overthinker, and I feel like most of the time when I overthink, obviously some could be negative, but for the majority it can be very positive. And I say that because, whenever I poetry, I feel like I could think of 90% of the poem in my head before I even write it out. Like I could think of certain punchlines, I could think of how it ends, I could think of how it starts, and I just gotta fill the gap in between. And I feel like I am able to do that because, I'm an overthinker, or I'm thinking too much sometimes. And I do that with like nomadic voices as well with my personal business. Like how can I grow this way? How can I grow that way? And how many people do I need to perform, blah, 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 and etc. But it can also be, like that negative where it's like sometimes being in your head so much can, cause other issues.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
Let me ask you a question. When you're writing your poetry and stuff, is it really coming from your head or is it coming from another part of you?
I feel like it's coming from my head, obviously, because I'm thinking, but to answer your question, I think it comes from like sometimes personal, sometimes like I feel like maybe it's deeper. I don't really know. I feel like it's just all right there. Like I could think, like I said, I could think of like certain punchlines in the middle of the poem and then the beginning and the end before I even write it down. Like as long as I have a decent theme, then I could fill the gap in between and put certain things in.
Right. And when you're writing it and those words are coming at you and they're coming through you, do you notice your body in terms of what's going on inside? Like, is it flowing?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's flowing. It's like walking up the stairs, pretty much. It's like, oh shoot, I have this already, and it's like, dang, I just gotta write this down. Because a lot of the time, I write my poems better with my phone because I use this app, and it has like highlighting. It highlights certain wordplay, for you. So I kind of like that. I also like writing pen on the pad, but I think I use that app better because it highlights certain words, and I can, it lets me use those words and continue with that. So like it's an easier flow. So it's like I said, it's like walking up the stairs. Like, oh shoot, I have this word. I could use that word with this word, and I keep writing, and I just keep typing.
Right. And when you're doing that, there's the word that's coming up for me is flow.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's a flow, and so to recognize in your lives where there's flow, We use the word balance a lot, right? Everybody wants to have a balance. Like, I don't like the word balance, because to me, I see a scale, right? And one thing goes up and then something else has got to go up, right? And that, to me, that's a lot of work, right? And so for me, the word that I use is flow. When my life is in flow, when I'm flowing, when information is flowing through me. And flow is like water. Sometimes there's a barrier, and water always finds a way. It always finds a way around. And how do I get around it? I stop. I take a breath. I invite myself to be in the moment. There's a word that has kept coming up in our conversation that I want to bring up for you guys. And everybody uses this word. It's part of our lexicon, and we don't even realize we're using it. And it's the word try. We say that word all the time, right? I want to invite you to, rather than using the word try, to change it to the word choose, and see if it makes a difference in your body. So I think Jules B3, you were talking about your business, and you were talking about trying to do something. How does it feel in your body if you were to go, am I willing to choose? Right? So for each of you to think about where you use the word try and how it feels different. Does it feel different in your body if you use the word choose?
But I was going to say, do you feel that try and choose are similar?
No, for me, try is a back door. So I'm going to try to do this. It has a subcontext of I can't do it. And that sets up then a conversation in my head where I get to beat myself up if I don't do it. Does that make sense?
It's like, my fault, go.
It makes sense. But then how, another question would be then, when you say I choose to do something, and then what if you come short of that goal or that whatever you choose to do?
Right. So then I frame it as, am I willing to choose to? Right? Because when I use the word choose, now I'm standing at a point where I get to go right, I get to go left, I get to stay in the middle, right? No choice is ever the wrong choice. There's no good, bad, right, or wrong choice. It's just a choice. And I make a choice, I see the results of that choice, and then I get to choose again. Right? So for me, it holds two different, when I use the word try often, when we use the word try, it's because we might actually not want to do it, but it makes it seem like we're going to be doing it. Whereas choose puts me on the hot seat. Am I willing to choose it? And you guess what? If I say no, that's okay. If I say I don't know, that's okay. Right? So you can ask the question, am I willing to choose to do this? And the answer could be yes, no, and I don't know. All are valid.
Maybe.
Yeah. You were gonna say something, Tabo, before?
I was gonna say, I just my thoughts a bit. Oh yeah. So when you said try and choose, like I was trying to not trying to, I guess, but in my head already, when you said those words, picturing yourself, replacing choose with try. And in my head, I was already doing that with like certain scenarios. And instantly I felt that there was a difference. Because it's like now you're just trying to manifest in ways. Like instead of just, saying the word try, like, oh, I guess I'll try this. But at the same time, but you say, oh, I choose to do this. It's like, it will push you a little bit more further mentally to just accomplish it.
Right. Yeah. And that's, for me, the power of words. What about you, Ibn? Anything come up for you with the word?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, it's kind of like instead of using the word try, what I like to do is I like to substitute the word will to hold myself more accountable. And it's kind of like the same thing as like I chill or I choose, I will. It's kind of like the same avenue.
Nice. Yeah, I love that. I love that because it is about coming up with the word or the words that resonate inside of you, right? Yeah. To shift.
And to add to that, I feel like will is even more powerful than choose because it's like now you have to do it. Whereas choose is like yes, no, maybe I'll do it. Whereas will is like okay, I'm going to do it.
Right, and you know, that's so fascinating because you know, for me, in this conversation, before I jump there, what about you, Vante? Anything come up for you with the choose and try?
You know, I already heard this. I imply this daily in my life ever since the shift event. I love the choose. I love the try. I incorporate in my house. You know, I like to talk about my daughter a lot, and you know, Daddy, I'm trying to do my hair. I don't want you to try. I just want you to do your hair. All right. I just want you. It's either you do it or you're done. It's either your room is clean or it's not clean. There's no in between. So I love that, and you know, I apply it with my daily life as well. You know, what can I do to push my brand tomorrow in the next 24 hours? You know, and I choose to do this. I choose to do that. I also want to say, I am in the middle of writing a poem as we speak. I'm jotting down notes and lines. So at the end, I'm gonna say a little poem of everything we've been talking about today. So y'all already know.
Oh, I love that. I love that. What I wanted to bring into the space now, you know, going back again to what you guys were talking about earlier in your segments, and you know, the word of the day, fantastic. You know, and what I wrote, visionary dreamer, and the word that came up for me there was innocence. Right? Our force of innocence. As children, we have this amazing force of innocence. And as we get older, it gets chipped away at. And to tap back into that force of innocence where we are unique. Each and every one of us is unique. And if we invite that force of innocence to be with us all the time, right? We can capture that within ourselves. And because we're all aspects of each other, you are all aspects of me, right? Which is what I love, why I love having these conversations, right? Because I get to find out more about me through you, through your words, what I'm hearing. I know everything that I'm hearing from you is for me. And the word will, when you're talking about, you know, I will do this. I'm a warrior, right? I'm in there. I'm ready to do the fight. And because you're aspects of me, I can make a couple of assumptions. Do any of you have any kind of stubbornness or defiance inside of you? Nobody tells you what to do and you don't tell you what to do.
Hey,
right?
I'm Mr. Stubborn.
Been working on it, but yeah.
So for me, that word will, I will do it. That to me is giving myself a command. And when I give myself, nobody tells me what to do and I don't tell me what to do. So when I say I will do something, there's some part of me inside of me that goes, really? You think you're going to do that? Well, let me see about that. Right? And I set up this fight inside myself, but that's me. And so this is why I wanted to bring this into the space, because again, it's about words and the vibrations that words hold. And that's what that brought up for me. So I'm curious for the rest of you, when Tabo said will, did you notice anything moving in your body? Did you notice any resistance? Did you notice any fight come up and going, really? You think you're going to do that?
I don't think it's resistance. I think it's a stronger push. Like,
nice.
I'm just thinking like scenarios in my head. And the biggest thing is like, you know, when I spar or whatever, like if I say, oh, I'll try to win compared to, oh, I will win. But if I do end up losing, it's like, okay, I'm going to win the next one. You know what I mean? It just pushes me further.
Nice. Yeah. So for me, that says the word choose and will for you sit in the same space, which is great. Yeah. What about you, Ibn? Anything?
Just from my previous like experiences, just me being an ex-football player and hearing pretty much hearing all the different word choices my coaches use. That's why will is like more powerful for me. When when I'm on the team in football and coach tells me to do something and I'll be like, yeah, I got you and I will do it. It his how can I say it? His trust in me goes up, and for myself, I feel like there's no boundaries to how I approach the situation. I just go for it. You know what I mean? I said I'm going to do it, and while I'm in the process of doing it, I repeat to myself, I will do it. You said you were going to do it. You know what I mean? So it pushes me even more. It's an empowering thing for me.
Nice.
Usually, okay, so I've I hate to do this, but growing up, you always hear, people say, to do this or we'll see you then, being in a foster system and everything constant changing all the time. I try to base my life on being a man to my word, but also not to commit to anything, especially if it's not true to self. So if I tell you, Lisa, I'm gonna do this for you, usually I've most likely I've already thought about it, and I wouldn't do something for someone that I know I wouldn't be able to do or be able to pull through. But at the same time, I know that Murphy's Law, you sometimes you just have to prepare, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. I also understand I'm just a human on this earth. There's always a bigger plan. There's always somebody's probably planning something beside to what I'm trying to plan, so I also chalk it up to, again, what's natural or not natural, so.
Yeah. I think what you're saying there, Vante, is really important, because for me, it comes down to our willingness to know that we get to change. We have the right to change our mind, right? That just because I say yes to something, I say yes in this moment, and then new information gets presented, and now my yes is a no, right? But we hold on to the yes because we're taught, you're as good as your word, right? So we end up doing stuff that we really don't want to do anymore because we've committed to it. Right? And that breeds resentment. Right? So am I to be true to myself? So I always ask myself, and I'm inviting you guys to consider asking yourselves when you make a choice and you say yes or you say no, the question is, am I honoring myself in this moment, in this choice? Knowing that you always have the right to change your mind. And then this also applies to everybody else, right? Because we tend to sometimes live in a double standard, right? Well, I know I get to change my mind, but then you make plans with somebody and they change their mind. You're like, hey, but I rearranged my schedule and I did all this, and you can't change your mind.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true.
What do you mean by that? That's crazy.
For example, if we were to make a plan, right, and it did not go, like something come up, and we were not even that.
No.
But
Since you want to bring that up, we gotta tell her.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing if that fits her description.
It does.
No, it don't.
It does. Yes,
it don't.
Well,
okay. All right. We went on a trip in 2018 to spring break in Miami. We paid for basketball tickets, right? And the night before, they let the scenery and everything around them, like, oh, we want to just chill on the beach tomorrow. I'm like, we already paid for these tickets, and they weren't cheap either.
Nah,
And
Julius don't play by his money.
Two things, yeah, don't play with my money. Don't play with someone that I like or love. Like, those are two things. So like, I was upset at the group that I was with. He was one of them. Like, yeah, really gonna change up on me. And that, I'm just saying, for me, it's like, stick to that. Like, we already paid for something. If it's something like simple where it doesn't involve money, fine. But when it involves money, like, nah, like, that's like me backing out of my vending machine deal tomorrow. I got the money, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it. He'll be upset. The guy would be upset. So I can't do that. Of
course he would be. Absolutely. And, you know, and I love this. Because this is real life, right? This is how it happens. And of course you're going to be upset. Of course there might be someone that goes, hey, you know, we pay good money for this. And he, you know, what if he goes and he totally doesn't enjoy the game because he's wishing he was somewhere else, right? But he's there because you wanted him to be there. Right. And I'm not saying, again, no good, bad, right, wrong. It's about recognizing. And for me, expectation is there, right? We say all these things and then something goes awry, but we're not sharing our expectations with one another. We're not saying, oh, you know, I want to go see this and you want to go see that. Well, okay, this time we're going to go do this, but I have the expectation that the next time you're going to do what I want you to do. And the next time we do something and you still don't want to do what I want to do, I'm upset with you because I didn't declare my expectation. Right. And this is where all this good stuff happens. Right. And it is more around recognizing, hey, this is a trigger for me. This brings up something for me. Don't play with my money. Well, did he pay you? Like, if he had paid you for it, then find somebody else to go.
Yeah. I'm gonna find a random to go.
Sure, absolutely. Listen.
The thing is too, go on.
Go ahead.
Oh, and what he didn't say is we introduced it to him, and like him saying no was okay too, but he got all hostile, like he got angry, like so we just let it rock. But he got angry, like that's what I'm saying. Like with Tabo, we agree with that. Like if you don't stick to the plan, he gets super aggravated. Like
right,
like, even if you give him a choice.
I'll just add this, and then we can go to your next point. I'm okay with changing the plan, you know, and maybe from that time to now, I've grown and learned to adapt. Vante knows me. That's one of my best friends. They're my close friends. Like, I like things structured. That's kind of how I was raised. Like, I don't like things all over the place, you know?
Yeah. And so that is key, right? Each one of us comes from a different structure of reality of how we grew up. And that structure of reality, shaped who we believe ourselves to be. And we are so much more than that, right? And so this is why these conversations, I love these conversations, because we get to do the deep dive into what are the things that have shaped who we believe ourselves to be, to know that we are so much more, right? What are the things that fire me off, right? Am I honoring myself in this choice? Am I honoring myself? And here's the thing. If I say, no, I am not honoring myself, that is just me owning the truth of my experience. And that for me is the most important thing. Are you willing to own the truth of your experience? And then be in the tough conversation of that. That's what's key for me. So, I'm watching the time, so I see it's 9:43. So I'm curious, do you guys have anything that you want to bring into the space that you want to explore, are there any other questions that you have around any of the stuff that we talked about? We covered a lot of stuff.
So I want to go first. I recently graduated from Utica College in this past May, and I got a degree in wellness and adventure education. And just hearing you speak, I can tell that you're a wellness professional in your own right. When this opportunity first presented itself, I asked Vante where you were like a life coach or something like that, because I'm aware of that profession. I'm aware of mentorship. Those are all professions that I could get into myself. So I kind of wanted to hear your experiences, how you got in this field that you're in now, and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I've been in communications my entire life, right? I started off in public relations, internal communications. I've worked in healthcare, the high-tech video film industry, telecom, government, right? I have my own business, Lisa J. Weiss, Eye of the Storm. And yeah, it's sort of evolved. It went from writing communication plans and strategies and doing websites to then facilitating conversations. And then in the last 14 years, it's been coaching, right? And so that's why, and I don't like using the word coach because coach covers so much. That's why I use the word evolutionary maven or transformation maven, because my intention is around evolution of the species, evolution of consciousness. So everything that I choose is about helping people to become more, to know, to connect with the leader that lives inside of them, so that you can become everything that you are meant to become in this life. And that goes beyond what I consider the traditional boundaries of coaching and wellness, because this is about connecting to your source of you.
I like how you put that, because like some of my friends know, and how Julius words it is like, I had like an epiphany during quarantine. Prior to quarantine, I was always like live in the moment, live day by day, kept myself busy, but I didn't really have a real purpose. The reason why I chose to major cybersecurity in the first place was because I knew there was a high demand in it for money, or for jobs, but also the fact that I love technology. I already knew cybersecurity was going to be the future, so I was going to enjoy that. However, that wasn't like my real passion. But ever since quarantine started, and I felt like I had like a little evolution in my personal life where, I started, writing poems. Poems are my first creative outlet. And then I started drawing and painting. And then I started like dancing, and now I'm in a group now. And so I started doing all these different creative aspects, which helps me become the person and keep growing and keep evolution, what evolutionizing, I don't know what the correct term is, but just keep, you know what I mean? So just keep going in that aspect. So it's interesting because, I feel like a lot of people, if they can get in touch with their creative side, them too can, grow and be a better person. And that's kind of what one of the reasons why Nomadic Voices started, which is my business. Why we started is because we want to enhance and promote community and connectivity through creativity. And so we go around, parks to parks, hosting open mic nights and encouraging people to just be themselves and be creative.
Absolutely. That is so key, right? And the toughest thing that we can ever do is to be ourselves and tell our truth, right? Mm-hmm. And to connect with another, in order to connect to the depth with another, I must be willing to first connect to the depths that lives inside of me, mm-hmm. right? It's like, I can't love another more than I love myself. Right? So all of that. And it's not about doing it alone. It's about doing it in community, which is what I love about this show. You guys are in community here and you're doing it together, right? And that is how we elevate ourselves, is when we're doing it together. That's what I love. Yeah.
100%.
That's everyone. Is it my turn?
Yeah, you can go.
Jew Black. Okay, Jew Black, go ahead, bro.
I was just gonna say, I'm just thankful for this opportunity. It was very eye-opening. I'm appreciative of it. and you're a blessing to us and to others.
Well, these conversations light me up, right? This is my life. I don't have what do you call a job, a job. I said, my business is my life and my life is my business. And so I live and breathe this every day. All of my life experience is infused in the work that I do, is infused in every conversation. For me, every conversation is an invitation for growth. And everything is just a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
The fear that we have about what people are going to say or not say, or what they're going to do or not do, that's just story that happens inside of our intellect. And our intellect lives on story. And when we can connect with what's going on inside of us, pay attention to the sensations, and start choosing from an internally referenced space, that is when the magic happens in our life. And that's what I'm about.
That's amazing. Yeah. Okay. I want to do something that I do with all of our special guests. This is called the lightning round questions. Okay, so I'll put the timer on the board. It's not letting me move it, but it's 2 minutes on the board, and I'm going to ask you these questions. You can answer them one word answers, and as fast as you can, and we'll unpack afterwards.
Okay.
All right. Let's. There we go. Texting or talking?
Talking.
Favorite day of the week?
Wednesday.
Favorite city in the U.S. besides the one you live in?
New York.
Nickname your parents used to call you?
I didn't have one.
Last song you downloaded?
Something by Paloma Faith.
Okay. Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or be able to talk to animals?
Talk to animals.
Favorite holiday?
Does my birthday count as a holiday?
Hey, sure, we'll take it. How long does it take you to get ready?
Now that depends.
Uh-oh.
If we're going fancy, at least an hour. If we're going quick, 15 minutes.
All right. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you?
10.
All right. 1 minute on the shot clock. Fill in the blank. Taylor Swift is?
Great.
At what age do you want to retire?
Never.
Invisibility or super strength?
Super strength.
Is it wrong for a vegetarian to eat animal crackers?
No.
30 seconds on the shot clock. Scale of 1 to 10. How good are you at keeping secrets?
Very.
Ariel or Jasmine?
Ariel or Jasmine? Oh, Jasmine.
First celebrity crush?
Parker Stevenson.
Dawn or dusk?
Dusk.
5 seconds. If you could travel back in time, what period would you go to?
Renaissance.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Give it up, give it up, give it up. All right. You made it to the second round, middle of the second round. At what age do you want to retire? You said never.
Never.
What does that look like for you?
Because I love who I am and what I'm doing. And so why would I ever want to give that up? Right? I mean, this whole notion of retirement was created in the industrial age. And, for your work, and then you go live your life. Well, I believe I live my life, and work is just a part of that. My work is just a part of that. So I'm never going to retire.
That's the best.
Wow.
I like it.
That's amazing. Do you guys have any questions?
I was going to ask about the Renaissance, because as an artist myself, and as an amateur artist myself, I love the beauty of, I love history, so I like studying history, and I love how art changed throughout time. But why the Renaissance? And I know that's a huge aspect of time period. So want you to elaborate on that.
Well, I love the Renaissance because of all the creativity that happened within it, right? And, you know, of course we can see it now, right? And I think every age might have a Renaissance. Like we might be going through a Renaissance right now. We don't know it. We won't know it till the future. But for me, there were so many different discoveries, and so people's minds were being opened to so much more. And for me, that ties into the invitation that COVID has given us. It's given us an invitation to open ourselves, to open our minds, to open our hearts, to open our spirits so that we can become more, right? Just like you, Tabo, if it wasn't for COVID, you might not be where you are right now. It
100%.
It invited you to go in so that you could become more. And that is why I like the Renaissance, because we went and our world changed. And for me, we're in that same time again. We're being invited to let go of everything that we knew before to create something new.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe the Renaissance was shortly right after the Dark Plague, if I'm not mistaken. So it's kind of cool to see.
Interesting, eh?
If there isn't no more questions, I can get into the poem, the rendezvous poem that I did.
Go for it.
All right.
I'm here for it.
Here we goes. It's been a minute. Natural or not natural, life has no limits. No more falling for it. I want to fall in it.
Ooh.
And then tell everybody, words carry life. Be careful what you disembody. Be careful of vibes and energy. Be careful what you bring around me. We say try all the time, my friend. I choose to never say try again. It feels different, walking through the back door. It's like screaming, who is it? No choice is the wrong choice. Right words from the wrong voice.
Ooh.
Am I willing to choose to be? Either way, I'll only choose if it's true to me. The power of words is in the beholder. Be careful who you're listening to. Go to work or life will shift right in front of you. Then ask yourself, are you really into it? Is there a real difference between fantasy and innocence? There's this fight inside of me thinking I won't really do what I do. See, I don't need a push to get the elephant out the room. Change your mind. Ideas pop, but don't forget to change the light. Paying to make some magic, but if I pay for these tickets, we better make it happen. Whole lot of triggers. Don't play with my money. To keep it 100, I'm not a big spender. And are you willing to tell you? Are you willing to tell your truth? Are you willing to be you? Where's that locked door? What's next to explore? 50 Cent says, all I need is a little bit, but I want a lot more. See, in the center, there's me, but I'm trying to figure out where's the eye of the storm. See, I know you felt this, like when Ibn and Lisa was talking about coaching and wellness. Nomadic Voices is flourishing. Tabo, you the future, like cybersecurity. And we'll never get tired. We love what we do, so why retire? Love what we do, it only feels right to say it's Vante poems, PurpleHaze at night. Last but not least, thank you for coming, Lisa J. Weiss.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful, beautiful, my friend.
Awesome. It has been a real pleasure. It's been a pleasure to engage with you guys. You know, feel free, follow me on YouTube and Instagram. You know, love to stay connected to all of you.
Yes, no, go ahead. Do your shout outs and plugs. Also, when we do our shout outs and plugs, we also say something good or a goal for the next 7 days. You being an evolutionary Maven, maybe you have something for us, a goal for us, or we should to aspire for the next 7 days.
So my invitation that I'm sending out to you all is to consider again the words that you're using and the vibrations that they hold inside of you. And for the next 7 days, when you catch yourself saying try, consider what will happen if you say instead, am I willing to choose?
Okay. Words mean everything. So before you say try, say choose, because words really empower. Okay, I want to give you another chance to say your shout outs and plugs. We do have some people in the chat box and they're loving the vibe. So you do have a book coming out.
I do. I have an upcoming book coming out. I have a co-authoring with Brian Tracy, and it's called Emerge, Be the Unmistakable Leader in Your Field. And my chapter is called The Leader Within. The book will be coming out this September, October. So look for it on Amazon and all those other places. I'll be on the cover.
Yay! That's so fire.
There we go.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. And, you know, I've got a YouTube channel, Lisa J. Weiss, look me up. I'm on Instagram at LJ Weiss, look me up at LJ Weiss, look me up, hook up with me. I love engaging with people. So send your questions, send your comments. It's all about the love. Thank you guys. Thank you all.
Thank you. We still want to hear the shout outs and plugs from the other businesses and brands, Nomadic Voices, Hooper's Rehab, and Visionary Vending. Let's start with Visionary Vending, then making our way all the way over to Hooper's Rehab. What's good, Jew?
Shout out to Fitness Mill for the opportunity that I got. Shout out to God first. Shout out to the people around me that keep me grounded. Shout out to all the support that I've been getting these past few days. Yeah, thankful,
yes.
Hudson?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Michelle Truitt of Levitt for inviting me to read my poems to a bunch of people, like 200 people around. Also, shout out to Munson William for letting me participate in my first ever sidewalk art show. I just handed my painting in. So I'm selling it for $500. I don't know if I'm going to get $500, but I believe it's worth that much. So
it's a whole lot of money in the mud.
Talk to me nice.
Yes. All right, Hooper's Rehab. What's going on, bro?
First, I want to start off by saying shout out to God. I had 2 opportunities come up to me this past week. I didn't share it in the beginning of the show, but I'll touch up on them now. The Action Agency called me and told me about an employment opportunity, and also I forgot the other one. It just slipped my mind. But I'll have it.
Was it the coaching? Was it the coaching?
Next time. Coaching.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Oh yeah, thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to say. And I also had the opportunity to coach at my own altar ladder at Notre Dame High School, but it can't work because of financial and timing reasons. But I'm thankful for the opportunity. Shout out to UC. Shout out Nomadic Voices. Shout out Visionary Vending. Shout out Lisa for coming on the show. Shout out Vante for meeting her. And shout out to everybody that's watching.
Yes. And last but not least, me. Huge shout out to everyone that came, who's hearing the sound of my voice at this moment, which means you're in the moment, you're here with us. That right there, I can't thank you enough. Huge shout out to Tabo, Nomadic Voices, Julia's Visionary Vending, Alif Binan, Ibn, Hooper's Rehab. You know, we're Black. Tabo is Corinne, and you know, we're colored men just trying to do very well in life, you know. So shout out to my brothers. Make sure you guys keep going up. I want to give a huge shout out to Lisa J. Weiss and Carrie for this beautiful network, this beautiful moment. It really means a lot that you're here. Probably our biggest night here on Purple Haze at night. It really means a lot that you're here. So again, thank you for taking time out of your night to hang with us.
Absolutely. Huge shout out to all of you. All of you.
So, before we go, remember, we're
all
all
kings and queens. Let's go.
You guys can go. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you
Hit that
guys.
like button, subscribe. Thank you.
Good night, y'all.
We the Purple Haze Nation.